Ignore the shit behind me, but welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today I've just decided, you know what, there's a few things to talk about. It seems quite eventful the past week, the things that have happened in the world of football, mostly surrounding Celtic and Celtic related issues, as always. I say ironically as I wear a Manchester United shirt. All my Celtic tops are in the wash. That's my excuse. But today I've just got to talk about a few things that have happened over the past week. Kind of like a mini Celtic Roundup sort of thing. Not really a series idea. Don't worry, this isn't... Usually the podcast is meant for this. As you'll know, the past kind of 3 weeks, the podcast has kind of went off the grid. It will come back. Trust me, it's still got to disappear for another 5 months like it did the first time. But quickly before we get into the video, if you do enjoy or you do find any of this, you know, enjoyable, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It is much appreciated as we come up for almost 10,500 subscribers. So once again, thank you all for the continued support on the channel. So this week, Celtic, very eventful week in the footballing calendar for us. We had a rather forgetful exit from the European football stage, where I kind of want to talk about where we go next on the European football stage and what is the next step for Celtic to try and progress to get to being a team again who has some sort of presence within the Champions League group stage and as a team that is maybe even, you know, capable of going further within the Europa League knockout stages, because, you know, that is really the kind of, you know, place you want to be. If we get to that last 32, you want to have a team that's believable that can go further. So we'll talk about that. Also the performance at the weekend against Aberdeen, the second best team in the country, officially. And then we will talk about Scott Brown retiring from international football, what that means for his career and how long he's got left with Celtic as a first team player and captain. Obviously, right now, the best player in the Celtic team, I'd say, this season, alongside maybe James Forrest. I think Scott Brown has been terrific. And arguably, you're looking at the best player in the country, and I don't care which team you support, how much you hate him, there is no doubt about that. But we'll talk about each thing individually. So obviously, first, Celtic went out of the Europa League last 32 to Zenit St Petersburg after an optimistic win in the first leg as well, where the second leg was disappointing, and now it leaves us in a position where we've seriously got to consider improvements for the team. And it's not so much the match itself I want to talk about. If you want to hear my opinions on the matches, my match reviews are there. Go back and watch them. Thank you for the support on them, by the way. But really now, it's Brendan Rodgers. More importantly, the board. Not so much Brendan Rodgers. I think Brendan Rodgers has the right ideas. And he wants to do things to take us to that next step where Celtic ultimately deserve to be at with a club our size. Brendan Rodgers got the right idea, and we've got the right man for that, you know, place to go. We've got the right man at the helm. But the board have got to look on now and think, right, we need serious investment with players on the park. Money is clearly there ready to be spent for Celtic. We're spending millions on a hotel complex and doing up outside the stadium. We're spending millions on and setting up camps of scouts in Australia and other countries. The only thing that's not been spent on is investment in the squad, and obviously we lie in a position where realistic signings for Celtic is difficult, and we've got to go further afield and find players that we've never heard of who have some quality. Olivier and Cham being a prime example, but we need to start bringing in more players. The investment has to be there, otherwise we're never going to get anywhere on the European stage. Never. We're not going to reach last 16s, we're not going to reach quarterfinals, semi-finals, and we're not going to repeat anything like, you know, 2003. Without investment. The defence that night against Zenit St Petersburg summed it all up. There's two players in the defence who I'm fully confident in. One is 18-year-old and one is 20-year-old. If we can hold on to them till, you know, as long as possible, till they're like 25 or such, which is going to be an impossible task. Maybe not for Tierney, but for Ayer especially. You know, we've got to hold on to these guys, and that is difficult for Celtic. Ultimately, we're a selling club, and we need to get out that mindset, and that's what I'm talking about. But it's difficult. With the league we lie in, and the position we lie in within the world of football, that is really difficult to get out of. But the incompetence that every fan has in the incompetence the defence has, and the lack of confidence that we have as fans looking upon them, surely the board has got to take that on board and see that, you know, improvements have to be made. A right back has to be brought in pronto. Lustig's career's done at Celtic. As much as I love him, he's a great personality. He has been a fantastic servant for the past 6 years as a Celtic player, past 7 years, however long it is he's played for us now. He's been a fantastic servant. He's racked up so many appearances and played so many big games. He's been important throughout the years, but he's well past it. He's done it, and his performances seem to be getting poorer and poorer, and at points you're wondering if it's a deliberate decline in performance from Mikael Lustig. Which is saddening. It is, because I love him. But, you know, this season has truly showed he's beyond it. it doesn't show he's going to get better. And unless there is a vast improvement within the next 3 months of the season, which is going to be difficult considering he might get dropped from the team of how bad he was at the weekend. It's a really big ask now for Lustig, and ultimately we should just be looking into bringing someone in who can replace him. And then Simunovic and Boyata, once again, are just not defenders who I have a lot of confidence in. At the start of the season, I said Simunovic was the best defender at the club, best centre-half at the club anyway. And I've been proven wrong, because this season he has, once again, similar to Lustig, been gradually declining in his performances. And it's time to bring in someone else. And the board have surely got to look at this and say, if we want to progress in Europe, we need to bring in names. We managed to land Charlie Masson on a loan deal. If we can land names like him, surely that shows that there is progress being made in the players that we can land. Maybe a bit more money has to be spent now. Obviously, we can't go out and spend 10, 15 million pounds on players. But maybe, you know, treat us to one. Or just at least get the money out, a couple of million here and there, to bring players in who are going to make a difference. Comper is yet to play, but he's a man who is ageing quickly. He's 30 years old as it is, and he's not going to be a first team player for so long. And I like the fact that we are signing players with experience, but we've got to look to players as well that are going to make a difference, but can make a difference for a little bit longer. And Comper is only going to be a kind of 1-2 year thing, I'd imagine. It's difficult, as I said, to land players who are of good quality at Celtic, good age, and are going to make a difference. So we need to make defensive improvements if we want to go anywhere in Europe. Attacking wise, I think we've got a team. We played the football, the first leg against Zenit. The football we played shows that we can play that level. The football we played against Bayern Munich at home, we can play high levels of football. The defence ultimately lets us down. We ain't money spent a goalkeeper, defenders. It's a big situation. But surely the board, after this exit of the European on the European stage, have to look at it and go, right, we don't want this embarrassment year after year. We want to progress as a club. We want to build an image, build a name on the European stage. It makes Celtic once again formidable. But we'll just have to wait and see. Second thing, obviously, I wanted to talk about was the performance yesterday against Aberdeen. Celtic winning 2-0 at Pittodrie against the second best team in the country. The team who have finished second for the past 4 or 5 years. A very weird performance. First half, it looked as though Aberdeen were going to win the game. I just didn't think we looked in at that. We weren't that great. We didn't look sharp. We were giving Aberdeen a lot of chances, which ultimately they didn't take. On their part, they were poor. Going forward, Stevie May, you know, had a couple of chances here and there. He could have got into better positions and easily could have scored goals for Aberdeen. And we didn't look alert. We didn't look awake. And the first half was poor. I would say, but Dembele was the real shining star yesterday, and hopefully that game has built his confidence to go on now and perform like this for the rest of the season. A goal and an assist yesterday, a fantastic assist, a lovely headed goal as well. If he plays like that every week, we have got the true Moussa Dembele back. The Moussa Dembele I know is still there. A lot of people have decided to write off for some reason. I think he will be back to his top level, and I hope this is the beginning of it, and hopefully we see these performances over the next few months, and especially against Rangers. Hopefully we'll bag himself a few goals, but hopefully that game acts as a confidence, a kickstart for him to go and play lovely football again and be the striker we know he can be. Well, the select fans who have decided not to give up faith in him. You know, fans are shouting, sell him here, sell him there. No, don't sell him. Keep him, get his confidence back, and he'll perform like he did yesterday, and really he was the game changer for me. But once again, the performance yesterday highlighting the defensive incompetence. Lustig progressively seems to deliberately get worse. And it's annoying seeing that. So Gamboa, Ralston, whoever has a chance to now step into the team and show that they're a better player and hopefully solidify a place in the team, because there's probably going to be a better player than Lustig at the rate he is playing this season, which is once again a shame. No disrespect to Lustig, because I respect him, but his time looks as though it has come to an end at Celtic in the first team anyway. But apart from that, second half I thought we were a lot better. We looked sharper. We were making chances. I feel the midfield was a big difference maker in the game. The likes of Brown and Cham, they're very important in these games. And Brown once again showing why he is such an important player at Celtic. Loves rattling up the opposite fans, and that's what I love about him. Which is a nice transition into the final topic of this video. Scott Brown retiring for the second time from international football. Retired from Scotland this morning. A big blow to Scotland. An irreplaceable player, I would say. Going to be difficult to find a player of his standard and importance to the team. I don't care what team you support. Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, Dundee, whatever. Scott Brown, no denial, is one of the top players in the Scotland setup. No matter how much you hate him. For what he does, opposition players hate playing against him. And there's a computer went off. He's a magnificent player when he plays his best, and it's so important to both Celtic and Scotland. He's going to be very difficult to replace. A fantastic captain. You can only say thank you to his services to the Scottish national team. You know, it's been hard, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's not actually not his fault whatsoever. The managers have been poor, the SFA have been poor, and the players can only do as much as they can. And he's been a magnificent captain, and a player who will be missed for Scotland, and over the next few years will be hard to replace. What does it mean for his Celtic career moving forward? Well, I think it's a clear sign that, you know, things are going to slow down for Scott Brown over the next 2 years. We'll be seeing his final seasons as the first team captain in, week out. He's getting older. He's 32, 33 years of age now. It's only natural. He can't play in the first team until he's 45 years of age. And he's a player who we need to start, you know, definitely looking at replacements for. Kwasi Abui looking strong enough. You know, there's likes of John McGinn out there, and there's other players who probably were picked up in scouting, but he's a player who will be hard to replace. But him retiring this morning, a sign of, you know, him kind of slowing down his career, and it's nice to see him focusing solely on Celtic, and hopefully his mind will be set on, as I said at the start of the first topic of the video, his mind will hopefully be set on improving Celtic on a bigger scale. Not just a domestic scale. Hopefully he will be a vital part of us moving forward on a European stage, but only time will tell. Spoke for about 11 minutes now, I don't want to drag it on too much, but those were the 3 things I wanted to cover. Bit of a random video, but you know what? I think it's went alright. So if you have enjoyed, like, subscribe, and aye, see you next time.